Good afternoon, Augusta Nation. I am here in Augusta, Georgia, just leaving North Augusta. So, those of you that don't know, our next location is North Augusta. Augusta, Georgia is pretty close to the border of South Carolina, the Savannah River. So, it's just right over the bridge. And from our location, our shop, it's you could be in North Augusta in less than 10 minutes. So we already have client base there, probably about almost a full week's now worth of work for one team member. And so Matt Owens and Muquit, they are going to Muquit McFadden. They are going to be the first two operators next year. North Augusta will be Matt, and Aiken will be Muquit. So just leaving North Augusta, we've been hitting it pretty hard with door hangers, and just started target marketing North Augusta pretty hard. So looking forward to that, and definitely want to give a quick shout out to Matt Owens and Muquit. They have really been stepping it up as leaders as far as getting there early in the morning and being the visual best in helping out their teammates, as far as helping out with blade changes and making sure that their teammates that they're with have the knowledge, going through that checklist as far as the first 2 weeks, the training pamphlet. We use that, and it's a great system. The printout, you can go to our franchise page if you're an Augusta franchisee. If anybody listening that is not Augusta franchisee but wants to see something, you onboard a new team member, what we like to do is keep it to the basics for the first 2 weeks, and days 1 through 10, we'll start out with a line trimmer, an edger, a blower, get them all the way through being able to push mow, ride a riding mower, and pull a truck and trailer. So on this sheet, very simple, everything is explained of how our location wants things done, describing good line trimming technique, good mowing, what it looks like, and very simple. It's got nice colors. And then there's this chart next to each skill that is not productive, needs improvement, or productive. So the experienced team member is paired with a new team member, and that is their trainer for 2 weeks. And every day the trainer makes notes, and then the next morning we go over it. So for the first however long, the system was great. The pamphlet was awesome. The concept was brilliant. But the execution wasn't going right. So we found out, again, making mistakes. If you can learn from my mistakes, that's awesome. I've done my job. So we developed this system, and then implementation, what needs to happen, because these experienced team members are killer out in the field. They've had great experience doing that. Most of them have not had experience telling another person, another human being, and coaching them, letting them know they're doing something that is not correct, and showing them the correct way to do that with good diction and communication. So it just takes practice. Some people are better at it than others, and the more practice you get, the better it is. But the bridge in between, what I would recommend is, some of you're going to be the one doing it, so this doesn't really apply. But if you've got team members in the field, you're not the one actually watching these new team members and being the one checking the list off. It helps to go over it the next morning before they go out and say, hey, your trainer Matt, he said you did great at collecting debris. You don't miss any crack weeds, but you tend to miss things that are inside the perimeter of the lawn, like a fire hydrant or a valve box. You need to work on that. And so it gives them very specific things to work on. And so that was one thing this week we ironed out, and I thought was really cool. But Muquit, Matthew, I really appreciate you guys stepping up. There's also this curriculum that I built for for team members that are in the field that want to become general managers, and that's what we're trying to get Muquit and Matthew ready for. So we're going through that, having monthly meetings with Matt and Muquit, and there's a couple books that that are mandatory. That Extreme Ownership's one of them. Dichotomy of Leadership is the next one. The 5 a.m. Club. There's just a couple in there that I believe are very helpful in adding to that personal growth required to manage a team. So they've got that going on. They're reading Extreme Ownership, and then we're all going to go over it. So looking forward to all that, and I just can't express how grateful I am and how happy I am that the guys are taking it seriously. I can tell they want it, and it's not something, any goals or aspirations you can't put on somebody. They've got to really want it in order to do what it takes for that personal growth, and I really believe Matthew and Muquit want it. So keep you up to date on that, on what goes on. Maybe we'll get them in for one of our meetings and let them talk about their perspective of everything. So you have that go on today. I know, and I apologize, I need to get better with names, especially with the franchisees. That's who I'm mainly talking to. Whoever it was, I apologize about the name, but I feel your pain. We had a truck go down as well, but I know your situation. I think that might have been your only truck, and that's a stinger, man. I hope that thing gets fixed quickly for you. That's it's the curse of an older model truck, cheaper truck. But I would much rather. I've been running that model since 2014, and I've done the math several times. The math never lies. The older truck is way better than the brand new car payment. So just keep getting after it, and I wish you were closer. I'd let you borrow one that we're not using. I think there might be one, maybe Jeremy's. But so we had one truck that went down. Gabe and one of our new team members, Josh, they're at a yard, and I think it's something simple like coolant. If I knew more about mechanics, we probably would have been able to fix it. So we got it towed. Jeremy's role and my role has kind of done a little roller coaster. Beginning of last year, I want to say, Jeremy was the estimator, I was the general manager. We had Jesse running treatment. We had all kinds of things that are kind of outside the systems of Augusta, and I hated being in the office. It was not a good fit for me. Jeremy really didn't like estimating, so middle of last year, I think it was July, we switched. I love talking to the customers. I love estimating, and it fits my skill set. And then Jeremy's role as general manager, earlier this year, talking with Liz and Lee, as far as trying to fit what a general manager in the Augusta Model is supposed to do at our level, which was, we did right over $1 million last year. So we tried out giving Jeremy budgeted hours. He was going out there knocking it out. Some days he would do 3, some days he would do 8. As we've grown this year, and especially during our busy season, which is June, July, and August, that's when things, not really May, June, July, and August, but as far as the growth of the grass and the weeds, June, July, and August, the stuff is growing, and the heat is a factor. So you got older trucks, you've got new team members being onboarded, all the new clients being onboarded, so all the customer complaints and things like that. Jeremy right now is not doing production. He'll go help out with the team. He, with breakdowns, he's pretty handy. He fixes a decent amount of stuff here and there, tires, or if a hose comes off, he'll clamp it, things like that. We buy used mowers too, as far as the ride-on ones. So things will happen. Even new mowers, you can't really get away with from popping tires here and there. So just today, let's see here, what all did we do? We went and got the truck, did something else too. forget what it was, but he's a very active role in handling customer complaints, making sure folks get scheduled for the callbacks immediately, and calling and talking to the customer immediately, addressing their complaint is huge. So his role, maybe in the more dormant months, production is a good deal. If you're listening to Mike today on one of his podcasts or one of his channels, he's talking about how hierarchy and management too early can sink a business, can deplete all the profits, and I can attest to that. Doing things like getting a shop and having a manager, maybe even having another division that's with a manager. I've done those things, and I can attest to the drain on the profit mixed with debt and things like that. It can really be a drain. So I think the Augusta model, there's different ways of doing it, and depends on your goal, a lot of it. With me, I got Jeremy pretty early in a management role as far as revenue goes, but looking back, I was before with Augusta, I was at my ropes end with lawn care, and I was ready to be done with it, and wanting to have multiple locations and things like that. I'm very fortunate to have met Jeremy when I did, and would not change it for the world as far as getting him into management. But as far as the Augusta model, I think 700,000 to 1.2, maybe even 1.5 if it grows a little bit slower once you get to 700. I think is pretty sustainable, especially if you're not trying to grow. You're just trying to kind of sustain. So I really think maybe 700 to 1.2. A general manager can run it. You might have to limit some of your services, so you're not out there estimating, and you're limiting your growth. So you're not doing 15, 20 estimates a day if you're trying to get to a place and stick there. So but yeah, I think like 700 to $1 million, having a general manager and just increasing that profit to 20-25% is definitely doable without any sort of management or hierarchies and things like that. But with us, we've got Jeremy's he's actually a partner now too, so he's one of the owners, and with what we're doing, adding locations and managing those, it's starting to make sense financially, so that's nice. Sorry, I went on a whole bunch of different topics. I'm already at the 13-minute mark, so I'm going to call it for today. About to hit my last estimate, and this weekend, that's a nice old. My wife, she's going to the beach with some of her friends. My two sons are going to their Amber's parents, that's Beaufort, South Carolina. Hopefully one of the locations in the next couple of years. And so they're going to hang out. And I'm going to go to a little motorcycle rally outside of Milledgeville with my dad and possibly Amber's dad. So I'm going to enjoy myself. Hope everybody out there is getting after it. Go hard on Friday. And if you got to do Saturday, hey, don't listen to people that tell you otherwise. You got to do what you got to do. Until next time, hope you have a great day.